Well, good afternoon, brothers, sisters, and friends. I'm Brian Reagan, and I'm coming to you from the Lake Butler Church of Christ in Lake Butler, Florida, on a damp and cool afternoon. Right now, we are just doing some test projects to check and see if the couple things that we researched might work, and so we are trying those out with all of the objects streaming at full capacity. What I would say to you, if you are watching, if you've chimed in on our live feed, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, is that I want to encourage you, if you've had someone that you've been thinking about inviting to church, but for whatever reason you haven't, and you say, well, I don't like the preacher, I don't like the song leader, I don't like the elders, I don't like my kinfolk, I don't like my non-kinfolk. Whatever reason you might not have been inviting someone, I want to encourage you, when you log in tomorrow on Facebook or on YouTube, that you go on ahead and invite your friends to a watch party. Because what this will allow them is a safe place in their home, a neutral environment, as it were, to hear some of our singing, to observe what we do with the Lord's Supper, to hear the general style and message of preaching and teaching that we have in the churches of Christ. And it will also allow them, if they are friends of yours, that they'll see some of their other friends that you also come to church with in your feed. And so this does create an opportunity for you to have a neutral environment to invite people. Tomorrow morning, we are going to be back in the Minor Prophets again. Had a lot of comments about Obadiah and Jonah and Amos. We've done those since we've been live streaming, and Hosea also. Want to encourage you, make sure that you invite them for the Bible class. Want to encourage you, log in for the 9:30 Bible class. Because if you have never studied the Minor Prophets, maybe your friends never studied them. Maybe the Old Testament is kind of intimidating to them. People know a little bit about Jesus, but they don't always know a lot about the Old Testament. And so I want to say to you, invite them for 9:30 to the Bible class. And then 10:30 tomorrow, we have our Know and Believe the Love series that we're going to be doing. That it's about a 6 or 7 week series about knowing and believing the love that God has for us and toward us as His people, and that He has toward the world in general, but very specifically toward His church. And that's a good opportunity for you to introduce someone to who Jesus is and to the love of God in the larger context of Scripture. And then tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, I want to encourage you, come back, and this is one of these to invite your friends. Friends and family and co-workers and all that. People always have questions about the book of Revelation. We've gone through the first 3 chapters. Now, to church people, the first 3 chapters are the hardest chapters. Because you know why? Jesus writes those to the church. And there's things in those 7 churches that apply to us that make us go, well, we're not doing as good as we could. But after we move out of the 7 letters to the churches, and we begin in chapter 4, which is where we'll be tomorrow night, we now move out of where things are, which is what chapters 1 through 3 was, into the things that shall come to pass. And John is going to take us into the throne room of God, and we're going to see the future unfold as God was giving them the images and the visions and the revelations of that nearly 1900 years ago. And so we want to invite you, a little bit more than 1900 years ago, we want to invite you to take advantage of this live stream opportunity that you have, because it does allow you to reach out to friends, family members, co-workers, even distant friends. Maybe there's someone 3 or 4 states away that you've been, wishing you could get them to go to church. Invite them to come with you to Lake Butler Church of Christ virtual services And then maybe this will be an opportunity where you can encourage them where they live in their home state to seek out, and maybe you can find a congregation in their town or in their county to try and plug them into. So don't miss that this is an evangelistic tool for you, as well as a teaching tool for you to introduce people to the Lord's church and to the things that we believe and hold dear as Christians. I'm Brian Reagan. Hopefully this test sample went well on our various fronts. That's what we're testing today. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. 9:30 Bible class, 10:30 worship, and 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Have a blessed afternoon, y'all.